All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jill Johns. I'm one of the corporate mentors with Cornerstone. It is 7 p.m. Central on Thursday, September 4th. Cannot believe how fast this year is flying by. And this is Booking Q&A. So for those who have been on these with me before, I have not done too many booking Q&As, and I wholeheartedly admit that my specialty, my niche has been cruising, most heavily a majority of cruising. Um, but I will absolutely do my best to answer any questions that folks have. Let me get my chat window up because I see a couple things in here. Sherry says Alaska's on her list. Yes, so he hates the cold. Oh, it gives you a perfect opportunity to bundle up because I'm from Northern California and we get hot. It's like when I came home, I was glad I didn't get home till almost 10 o'clock at night because it was still in the upper 70s when I got home at 10 o'clock at night. So it was refreshing to go to Alaska and be able to put on a sweater. Um, but yeah, it's not everybody likes the cold, but if you don't mind the cold, at least for a temporary time, like I said, I can't recommend Alaska in the interior enough. But that's not what we're here for. We are here for booking Q&A. This is an open Q&A session for your booking questions. You are welcome to either take yourself off of mute and ask away, or if you're not comfortable doing that, you can also just look down at the bottom. There should be the little bar with the buttons. There's one that says chat. If you click on that, it'll open up the little chat box and you are welcome to put your question in there. I believe in not putting any pressure on someone. If you're, like I said, if you're not comfortable asking your question off mic, just throw it in the chat box. That is absolutely fine with me. And if you're really, really new and you are nervous about asking any kind of questions at all, you are also welcome to just sit back and absorb and listen to other questions that come up. So, like I said, I believe in a no pressure environment. So, who wants to get us started? Somebody's got to have a question and wants to be the brave one and start us off. I've got Eugene in the chat, so it looks like he's going to start us off. Thank you, Eugene. He says, so I'm still going through a lot of my training. Family has gone on a Carnival cruise October 5th, which we booked through Carnival just because we did it before getting on the TA rate. Today I purchased insurance through Chubb for a cruise. Yes, I need to put that in test now. Yes, you absolutely do want to put that into test because you will get commission off of that Chubb policy that you purchased, and so you absolutely want to get that onto the test. If you're not sure how to do it, I'm happy to pop in. I can share my screen and quickly show you. You're just going to enter it like you would a trip. If it's a per trip policy, you're going to just enter when the trip starts, when the trip ends. Down in the bottom, you can enter it. You instead of, since it's not a cruise, it's not a hotel, go over to the right where it says add activity and general information, and you can just plug in the basics of the information there. And if you prefer I show that to you, I'm happy to do that.
That
And
would
then
be
you just,
amazing.
okay, perfect. Let me do that then. Let's jump on over in there.
Yeah, I was trying to do it in tests and I was a little confused. Eventually, I think I did see activities, but I wasn't sure if that was the route I needed to go
Yeah, and I don't know
because my
why.
first clients that I have in tests are obviously myself and my family.
Right. So what you're going to do, let me shrink the camera over here. So you're just going to go ahead and you're going to enter it. You're going to make it, you can make it whatever you want to since it's insurance. If you want to just do it as other, you can do it as other. You're going to enter the start date. So let me pick a date that's coming up. We'll say 10/1/2025 to 10/15/2025. Usually what you want to do here is you want to put down the supplier. I usually put in the last name of the primary traveler or all the travelers.
Okay.
And then just a description, um, trip policy, and then you can come down and over here under add activity. Now I'm going to point out the add activity. Oops, it looks like I got a couple more people to add here. Hang on just a second. I get all these pop-ups when I'm doing these, and so I have to try to keep on top of all of them. So one of the things I'll note that even if you're adding a cruise or a hotel, sometimes when you're adding a hotel or resort, you may find that the precise name of the hotel may not work. You can do it enter it the same way I'm getting ready to show you the Chubb. Same thing with the cruise. If you're booking cruises out to 2027, sometimes the itineraries are not yet loaded into Tess. So what I've been doing, I come to add activity, general information, and you're going to find it starts with the date. It defaults that from this section right here. The activity name, you're going to put in, you know, Chubb, whatever you want it to say, trip policy for Greek Isles cruise or whatever it is. You're going to plug in the confirmation number, which for Chubb, I've been using the policy number. And
Okay.
then if you want to, you can add a description. This description and instruction section is not a required. You can see there's not an asterisk. So you can put in this section whatever you want. I will note if you're going to do this for a hotel or a cruise, again, you can add whatever information you want to, details about the hotel or resort. For the cruise, I typically, because when you're doing an add cruise, you'll see that once you add the information, you have the option, well, it's not going to show me right now, but once you get the cruise name in there, it will usually give you an option to add the cabin information. There's like a little button to add. And so because I know that you can add the cabin information, the general does not show it. Darn it, I'm getting the reverberation on my headset again. Because I know that you can add the cabin information under the cruise information typically, but it's not specific here. I'll do like cabin category BD, cabin number, you know, D705, and then whatever other information you want. So that's kind of your free form description to add anything else. So if you can't find your particular hotel here or your cruise here, or you're adding something like Chubb, you can just enter whatever you want to into here. And then you just hit save. Then you go to booking and you're just going to do booking just like you would any other booking. So you would add, let me just go ahead and close out of there and go to my trips. I believe I have a Chubb somewhere in here. So in this particular case, I didn't even add the description. Down in here in the trip information, I just skipped it. But then in the booking, you can see that the booking number, I did use my policy number. And then the date I booked it, the date it was covering, the package price, and then the projected commission. I mean, the projected commission on the insurance is just so ridiculous. I just love it. I mean, my trip policy was $133.72. The projected commission was $48.15. I got $38.52 on that. You can't really beat that. And then the payments, if anybody has any questions about where to enter a payment, once you have the booking tab open and the actual booking open, then you're going to see that payment tab. I know there was just a question on the Facebook page about that. So that's just right here. And then you just click add payment and then you can enter the information here. So hopefully that helps. And does that answer your question, Eugene?
I believe so, except for the payment. So this was me making my own payment.
Yep.
Sorry. Do I still go in and enter the payment information on there as well?
I do, because it's great for your record keeping, because then you
Okay.
can quickly see, because if you go back to the trips, you can see zero amount due, zero amount due. Let me take Chubb out of there. So you'll see that when there's a balance due, it's very visible in red.
Okay.
And then when it's zero, you're going to be able to see it's pretty obvious. It turns black.
Perfect.
And I'm still getting reverberation on my headset. Second while I switch, and I know that I get a little bit quieter, so let me get a little bit closer to my mic and turn up my volume a little bit. Hang on just a second. Can you guys hear me okay?
I still can.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I know sometimes I have to lean in a little bit to my computer just so that you can still hear me okay. Okay, so yeah, it's just great for record keeping, because like I said, then at a quick glance, you can see that that's paid in full. All right, so let me go back out and see. I've got something else in chat. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Brian. Brian confirmed he can hear me also. All right, who else has questions? I'm surprised more questions haven't popped up in the chat yet.
Hi, Jill. I do have a question about fraudsters out there. I had someone email me, "Are you a travel agent?" "Yes, how can I help you?" And, I sent him the credit card authorization form, that I pulled up off of our website, and it's sent to him as a picture on his phone, so he couldn't fill it out. He
Okay.
couldn't print it. And he asked if he could book something for his associates, and it was actually coming up the 12th of September, a trip to Paris, and he knew exactly what hotel he wanted and the dates. So we got that buttoned up. And I went ahead and I don't know, I I got a call from Price Agencies, their verification department,
Uh-huh.
because they were asking me about, is this a client I've worked with before? Is it a first time client? How did they contact you? Basically, I gave them the rundown of what we had gone through. And they said, well, we're following up, make sure they don't dispute the charge down the road. And I told him, I said, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I tried to get information, and he gave me some good advice and said, you should ask for their driver's license,
Mhm.
get a picture of the credit card.
Mhm.
And
Correct.
I said, okay, good to know. And this was my very first booking. So, of course, I was like freaking out a little bit. It's like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? But they went ahead and authorized it. The card went through. But then this guy was having me like check flights that were going to be leaving in 2 days. And of course, it wasn't for him. And it just got to be where I was just feeling really uncomfortable. He
Yeah.
did send me a driver's license, but it didn't look right. I mean, the address on it did not look right. It was like 2 addresses, then New York with no zip code.
Oh gosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
And I
does sound a
mean,
little bit fishy.
yeah. So I just told him I'm sorry, but I can't book anything else for you.
Yeah. And honestly, a lot of times you do have to go with your gut. I find that a lot of times the emails, when they come and they say they want something within the next couple of days, a lot of times they're fraudulent. And a lot of times they'll say, I want to book this, like you kind of said, they know where they want to go. They know when they want to go. It's usually short term, coming up real quick. And they'll say, please let me know what you can find for me and what types of payments you accept. And that's always kind of a red flag because it's just always the same. Anytime I
Yeah.
get those, it's like the verbiage is just, there's a lot of the same verbiage. Um, I think I would have been a little hesitant because he was booking for an associate. It's like, well, why is the associate not contacting you directly if the trip is for them? I mean, unless they're a corporate, if they're a corporate person, there are people who work in corporate offices who book travel for their associates, but they actually do the bookings. They wouldn't reach out to a travel agent directly. But yes, in general, with a credit card authorization, when you're in Canva, you'd want to print it as a PDF form or save it as a PDF form so that it's not just an image. And that way they should be able to print it, fill it out, and then scan it and send it back. But you do want to get a copy of their credit card and their driver's license so you can compare information and make sure things don't look fishy on the ID.
Yeah.
Because that's all kind of red flag stuff. And so hopefully they don't try to do a chargeback. Were you able to get the credit card authorization signed?
No,
Okay.
no. And so I put it into tests, and I don't know if anything will come to fruition about it. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, the
Yeah.
card did go through, but you're right. I mean, there was just like 3 different addresses for different cards, but they all had the same name. And I don't know. As far as like the repercussion, like what kind, is there any kind of repercussion that'll come back on me?
I would actually recommend that you reach out to Amy and send her kind of a rundown of what happened and just let her know your concerns and let her address that with you.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Yeah, because like I said, this is my very first one. It's just like I just got it was scary. I mean, it's just like you don't want to do anything wrong,
Right.
you know, and so all right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. And I will keep my fingers crossed that everything goes smoothly. All right. So Andy, is the process the same for a Viator booking? You're talking about in tests? Yes, it's going to pretty much be the same. You could do it as an add tour and see if the name comes up for the actual tour name. If for some reason it doesn't, then you can flip over to the add activity general information and go from there. Lisa, give me just a second. I see your hands up. I want to get to the couple more of these items in the chat and then I will get to you. Karen just started her seminar classes this week, so she's just observing, so welcome. Gunter, have fun. Can you give me a link to learn more about doing group bookings? Oh gosh. So group bookings, those are a whole different ball of wax. It's kind of, there's not really a link to learn more about doing group bookings. The type of group bookings you're going to do, can it's all going to vary depending on what type of group you're talking about doing. Even if you're talking about a cruise group, the policies and procedures are going to vary by each cruise line. So if you're interested in doing a group booking, let me scroll down a little bit more. If you don't mind unmiking and giving me a little bit more information about that.
Hey, Jill. Yes, I did the on like Carnival Cruise Lines,
Okay.
and of course they covered group bookings. You know, it's been a while since I looked at it, but I know that you don't necessarily have to have a group to do that, but you do it and try to sell it as a group. And I just wondered if there's somewhere that I can look that so that I would feel more comfortable about even attempting that.
Let me look and see. I'm going to say your best bet for that is probably going to be to reach out to our BDM. Let me see if I can find her. So that is Lori Mason. She's very helpful. I'm going to put her email address in the chat.
Thanks.
And so send her an email, just let her know and see if she can direct you to a document or something that maybe has some Q&A about it and go from there.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Going to Paris, you would need their passport. Oh, yes, that's true too, Brian. For an international, passports would be needed. It sounds like when she got as far as the flights that she didn't do that. So I think she's okay on that. Yeah, Bobby, I agree. A lot of the last minute things do tend to be scams. It's awful that it does that. As far as Bobby's asking, should Gunter have fun contact price agencies in the situation? Was it Gunter have fun? No, you were the group.
It was Bridget.
It was Bridget. Thank
Yeah.
you. So many names have crossed my screen already. I'm confusing myself. I'm going to let her talk to Amy about that and get her opinion and have Amy give her direction just so that there's no confusion. Amy may direct her back to price agencies and say, you know what, let's see if we can we cancel this? But of course, if it was coming up on the 12th, I don't know. But with Amy being the president, I'll let her.
Yeah. No, I was just curious for anybody else if something were to happen. Obviously, price
Yeah.
agencies had their red flags up, so maybe.
Yeah, it sounds like she could certainly reach out to Bridget. You could certainly reach out to price agencies if you still have concerns about it, and just let them know you still got concerns, and you're going to talk to your company president and get her take on it. If you feel that that's something you want to do, that's absolutely something you could do.
Yeah, I talked to, price agencies, their authorization department. They called me about it.
Yeah.
And they went ahead and said it was okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I just go ahead and run it by Amy and just get her take on the situation. See if maybe she has, some input on, what happens if they do come back with a chargeback or something like that. You can just kind of ask her, give her the scenario, and get her opinion on it then.
Okay.
All right. And Lisa, go ahead. Lisa's been waiting patiently with her hands up. Do I need to click on you? Lisa Landreth, are you still with me?
I was trying to get unmuted. I got it finally. So, so sorry. I have to get back to my page here. Okay, so I'm curious on tests. So I've been putting a few different trips in. I'm kind of getting excited about just being able to mess with it. But on a trip status, I have a question on the different statuses. There's active, booked, canceled, paid, ready to travel, and traveled. Some of them are obvious. At what point do you say ready to travel or book after paid?
So, honestly, most of the time I forget to go back and change it.
Oh, I wasn't sure.
Full disclosure, I often forget. So when you're in a booking, typically once they've deposited it, I'll change it from active to booked. You obviously have the canceled option. I did share my screen, so that's on here.
Okay, great.
Paid. So the paid, I honestly don't use paid because once they've paid in full, they're ready to travel. So is it really, do you want to put it as paid or ready to travel? Is kind of how, maybe somebody else has a different take on that, but I tend to go from booked to ready to travel.
Okay, all right.
That's me personally. And then I do try once in a while to go back through and mark them as traveled. And the biggest reason for that is because when you're filtering, when you're looking at your trips, you have the filter option.
Mhm.
And so you've got paid, ready to travel, and you can take these check marks off and filter just by traveled. And so by updating them, you're going to get the proper filter.
Got it.
So
Okay.
that's really the purpose of those, is so that if you're filtering for just one travel type, you can go in and it's going to be accurate.
Right. Okay. And then I guess I had one other question. When you're putting I got a hotel universal package through Vex. Is
Uh-huh.
that good enough? I don't have to separate out the universal and the hotel?
If it's all through the same supplier, it's probably going to have all the same booking number, correct?
All right. Oh, yeah. It
Yes.
does.
So
Okay.
if it has the same booking number and it's through the same supplier, then yes, you can put it all in one.
Perfect. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's see. We've got another one here from Andy. When booking airfare for a family of 6, should it be done as a group with 6 tickets or as 6 individual ticket booking? Ooh. Also, which would be better when one passenger has status with perks that would apply to everyone in the same reservation? Would apply to everyone in the same reservation? Good questions, Andy. I'll be honest, I don't book a lot of flights. That's my personal preference. I don't like them. I don't even like booking my own flights. If I could avoid doing it, I would. There's so many movable parts to flights that it's just, I find them to just be more of a headache than I care for. So is it better to do them as a group or 6 individual tickets? That's a good question. Has anyone on here booked multiple tickets as a group? Because here's my question for that. If you book 6 tickets as a group and 1 or 2 people need to cancel, how does that affect the group? So that's something I would look at as far as booking as a group or individual. Because if you've got a group of 6 tickets, how hard is it to cancel 1 or 2 of them should you need to?
Yeah.
So that's
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So normally, if you are going straight through the airlines and you have 6 tickets on a group, and somebody has to break out, you call the airline, and they'll actually split the reservation into 2. So the
Oh,
ones who
okay.
have to break apart would then be pulled out of the original reservation and a second reservation is made for them.
Okay.
Right.
So
Um,
it doesn't really sound like it would necessarily matter unless it's just the ease of ticketing by doing it as a group. Would you would just get one booking number for all 6, right?
right. Yeah. But I think the other thing is really is if there is like normally if you go straight to the airline,
Mm-hmm.
And one person has status, that allows them to pick seats early or pick the economy plus seats and so on.
Sure.
That typically applies to everyone on the reservation.
Okay.
But
And
if it's not, you don't.
yeah, so if you did 6 individual tickets, 6 individual reservations, then they're not going to be able to take advantage of that one person's perk because
Right.
they're separate. So it sounds like that answers your question. It sounds like if you've got one person out of 6 who has the perks and you want that to carry over to the other 5, it sounds like you would want to do those as the group so that they could take advantage of that.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm actually looking at Expedia Tap
Okay.
and they have the flight option. And I just wonder, is booking through Expedia Tap the same as booking through the airline directly? Do you have the same sort of flexibility?
Andy, I've heard it doesn't.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe it does not.
I book direct and then I charge a fee because most airlines don't pay commission, or airfare that we book on our end with just airfare doesn't pay commission. So that's what I do personally.
Yeah, and even if you're in Snap, I know that you can add a service fee to the booking in Snap, and some fares do come up as commissionable, and Snap will show you that. But because it's a third party, I think Brian's right. You're not going to have the same some of the same policies as you would booking direct, just because it is a third party.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you to those who helped jump in with answers on that. Like I said, I personally have opted over the years to just not do many flights. So many moving parts and so many changing flight schedules, and even for my own flights, it gives me a headache. I've done international flights and had canceled flights and sat there at the airport and going, man, I'm glad this is my own and not a client's, because it's just so much. Let's see. Okay, Sherry said, good to know on tests, updating the status. Jenny's saying, I would say book as a group if you want to keep them together if there's changes or delays. Allison is also saying you would want to book them as a group to get the status, but don't book through TAP. You have to go direct through the airline. So it looks like the consensus is pretty unanimous. Book them as a group. It goes straight through the airline. If you have access to a payment method, you can like some of them, like Bobby mentioned, charge a service fee. I know some travel agents may use like Venmo or PayPal. It's kind of depends on what you have access to. Bobby, I don't know what you use to charge your service fee.
I have Travefy linked. It's linked to Stripe if I do it that way. So
perfect. So there's Stripe, lots of payment methods. So that's something you might consider looking at if you're going to book a lot of airfare, is maybe getting something like that. That way, if you are booking a lot of airfare, you do have that ability to charge a service charge. I make sure if I do charge a service fee for anything that I let them know up front that I'm charging it, because we don't get paid commissions. And so, your time is valuable, and so it's good to let them know ahead of time if you're going to charge a service fee. All right. Looks like that catches me up on questions again. Who else has questions? Anybody? Stacy came off mute. Do you have a question? Call me. I busted you. You kind of made a sound and your name popped up big on the screen. So it's like, aha.
I have a quick question. Oh, go ahead. You can go first.
Well, I wanted to go back to the group question for a second.
Okay.
I had I've been working with several BDMs trying to set up a local little travel show in my community.
Great.
And they're all full of ideas. And one of the ideas was, oh, well, you need to do a group, and then you could do flyers, and you can kind of pitch that, a group travel, find a cruise and blah blah blah. I'm like,
Yep.
that's great because I've never done that. I've wanted to do that, but I don't, as travel agents, we don't have, because there's only so many groups that are allowed on each cruise line from each travel agency. So we can't all make groups all the time. So how does that work?
So at the present time, we still kind of have free access to, within our own judgment, create groups. If we think we're going to be able to sell the group, create a group. I know somebody had asked the question about groups of Amy, and she said, at some point, because we're growing so fast, is it going to get to the point where we have to put in a request to open a group? And Amy said, Amy's response was, it could come to that at some point, but at this point, we are not there. So at this point, you do still have the ability to go in and create a group based on a date that you
Okay.
Yeah.
How long generally do they leave the groups open? Because they're telling me to create the group now, and this, my travel thing is not going to be till February, so the cruise wouldn't be until probably next August, next fall or something. They're not going to leave that group open 6 months or a year, are they?
Yes, they will.
Oh, well, okay then. Okay.
Now, at some point, if you're not sure, check with the cruise line on their recall dates. So recall
Right.
dates, when you open the group, it usually is better to open the group sooner rather than later because you're going to lock in at the price at a lower rate.
Right.
A lot of times with cruise lines, the prices go up between the time the itineraries come out
Right.
and the time the sail date. So by opening the group sooner, you have the ability to, kind of lock in that better pricing. And then, but do check on the cruise line's policy, because some cruise lines you can open a group and not have to pay any deposits for the unsold cabins. Some cruise lines do require that they'll give you like 30 days, or maybe it's 2 weeks to 30 days, depending on the cruise line, where anything you book within that amount of time, of course, the passengers are going to pay the deposit. Anything unbooked after that, they may require like a $50 per cabin deposit from you, but then it's refundable if you book it. And
Okay.
so it's really important to check with each cruise line or the cruise line that you want to open a group with and find out what their terms and conditions are, find out when their recall dates are, because if you open a group now and your travel show is not until February, is there going to be a recall date on it between now and then? Most likely
Right.
not.
Right. That's what I was concerned about.
Yes.
I was told I could extend the recall dates twice.
Well, and so that's perfect. So again, call the cruise line, but that's a question I would ask. When would the first recall be?
Right.
And just get confirmation. Can I extend that date if I need to by a little bit, because I'm
Okay.
in a travel show and hoping to.
Well,
to
I'll
sell
make the
that.
group and then start calling the group desk to ask questions.
Yes, absolutely. I would absolutely do that. And then just put the flyers out everywhere. I mean, even if you haven't had your travel show yet, advertise it on your social media pages.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a couple of other little events I can do that with. All right. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, let's see. And it looks like we got a couple comments. Let me look. Let me get caught up. So Bobby commented on the groups that she started opening MSC groups for us to be competitive against other agencies. And the other thing too is when there's a group open, honestly, because we are all hosted under Cornerstone, when you look for groups, you're going to see each other's groups. I mean, that's just something that's going to happen. You're going to see each other's groups, and I've done trainings on Princess before, and I've had the question asked. So you mentioned this group. If I have a booking, but in fact, Bobby, I think you may have asked me that on one of my group sessions.
I did. That's why I had the same question in it, because I do it with MSC, but obviously every cruise line is different. So yeah.
Yes. And so the question was, I showed how to open a group. I showed how to see if there was a group when you were looking at a particular booking. And the example I used was one of my own groups. And I said, so let me show you. And what I did is I selected a fare that was not a group pricing fare, But with Princess, the way it works is if there's a group open, it doesn't matter if you choose a different fare. If there's a group open, it's going to put that booking in the group. So sometimes other travel agents may book into your group. It just depends on the
That's
cruise.
good, but that's good, right?
Exactly.
I booked a cruise in a TLN group. I was looking at a cruise I wanted to go on, and it was a much better price than the TLN group. And I thought, well, what the hell? I just, no problem.
Hey, this is recorded, Brian.
The only time I could see it being an issue as an agency is like, let's say you have a wedding and you took out 20 cabins for certain people as a wedding. So I would just always extend the common courtesy before I book into Jill's group. I'd be like, hey, Jill, can I book into this
Yes.
group? And like, if you want to book into one of my MSC groups, just be like, hey, can I book into this group? I think that's probably
Absolutely.
the best way to do it for now.
Yeah. I agree. And I had one that I booked and it threw it into one of Neil's groups, and I sent him a message. I'm like, dude, I know this said family reunion and I'm really sorry. You know how it is. It just automatically plunked it in there. And he's like, yeah, no problem. It happens. I know that. But yeah, I agree. If you're not sure how somebody's going to feel about it, just send them a message. We all have access to each other from the member list in the Cornerstone Travel group. You can always go in and find it if it says that, when you can find the agent name under the group. And honestly, if you want to open a group and open it to other agents, you can always post on the Cornerstone Travel group, hey, I just opened a group on Norwegian for this dates, this ship. If anybody's got anyone interested in that date, feel free to book them into the group.
That's a great idea. How do you see if I was on a TLN group, how would I mean, there's nobody to contact there, right?
No, TLN is Travel Leaders Network. They are our consortium. Those groups are open to all travel agents that are affiliated with Travel Leader Network across the globe. I mean, we're not just talking the US. It's like everywhere type thing. And that's not limited. There's not a particular travel agent who's managing that. One of the things about running a group, of course, is if you're able to book the entire group, of course, you can earn the tour conductor rate. And if you're going on that cruise, then you can actually potentially get your berth, at least a portion of your berth covered. So that's one thing to consider too with groups and booking into other people's groups. But Travel Leaders Network, there's no tour conductor rate or anything like that. That's just the consortium. You're taking advantage of it. Most of the time, those TLN rates are going to be the standard pricing. It's not going to usually have a lot of the packages and stuff, but again, at least with Princess, since that's where I book most of my cruises. But so you always, if you can, check and see what's included in that, so if somebody wants a drink package or something, make sure you know if it's covered in that pricing or not. So that's a good thing to know. But yeah, if you're going to open a group and you don't care if other people book into it, you can always,
More the merrier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Throw it
I
out
would love
there
to post and say, hey, I'm going to do a group. Let's all do the same group, and we can fill the group up.
Exactly. Say, I'm opening this group. Feel free to book your clients into it if they're interested. And that way the agents on Cornerstone will know that you don't have a problem with people being booked into it.
I don't. Yeah.
Question answered ahead of time, right? All right, let's see. So Stacy, I'm sorry, never apologize for being new. we were all new at one point. So new to the agency, and I have a few questions. I was about to ask a question, but it had nothing to do with booking, so I actually deleted it. Bless your heart. So Stacy, Lisa made a comment that it would be fun to go on a group with a cruise with a bunch of us, but that's the only other comment. So Stacy, ask your question.
Oh boy.
I know you're on the spot now.
I know. Well, I only wanted to find out after completing let's see, I wrote it someplace, the Travel Academy and that social media.
Yes.
What would be the next step from there?
Register for suppliers.
I did one or two.
Okay, so then I would say start with their trainings,
Right.
and go all the way through their trainings. So if you're doing cruises, and I usually always tell people, start with the suppliers that you're familiar with, because they're going to be the easiest because you have familiarity with them. So doing the training, it's kind of going to be the same thing. Some of it you're going to go, oh yeah, I know this because I traveled with them before.
Oh yeah, I did that with Royal. Oh yeah.
Exactly. Now, Royal Caribbean, I will tell you, is one of the longest
It
trainings.
is. It is. It
It
is.
is most definitely one of the longest trainings, but take your time, fit it into your schedule. I always tell people don't overwhelm yourself by trying to do too much too fast because training is inevitable. It does not end. It just goes on and on and on. I'm in my 9th year now of being a travel agent, just flipped over the start of my 9th year. I'm still doing trainings because even with cruises, you know, you do the basic training and then every year they want you to do a couple refresher courses and then oh wait, a new ship comes out and so you have to do training on the new ship, or they change their drink package, or so there's always something to keep on top of. All inclusive resorts, a new resort is built, or a resort gets remodeled, so there's new training all about the remodel. So training is inevitable. It's always going to be there. There's always going to be something to train on. So pace yourself. Take your time, fit it into your schedule. Don't let it overwhelm you. Just take one supplier at a time and kind of go from there. If cruising is your niche, start with a couple of cruise lines that you're familiar with, but then don't forget to add in a consolidator or two, because with cruising, you can also talk to your clients about, are you flying in ahead of time? Great, you're going to need a hotel. I can book that for you. Are you going to need, are you going to be in, let's say they're going to Australia and they're going to be in Sydney for 5 days before their cruise. Great. You're going to need some things to see and do while you're in Sydney. Let's go to Viator and let's get you some tours booked, and you can book those and make commission on those as well. So you want to do the consolidators to have access to the hotels, the car rentals, Viator or shore excursions groups. So you kind of want to round out some of, even if cruising is your niche, you want to kind of round out that knowledge base so that you can add on those extra things.
Okay, thank you. I think I signed up with Viator and I completed the Marriott, but I think after completing the Marriott, like I think I got to a point where it's saying like to print like the completion part, I needed to add some information, so I'm not sure what that was all about.
On Viator?
No, on Marriott. I'd
Oh, on
completed
Marriott.
Marriott. Yeah.
Were they asking maybe like for an individual CLIA number or
Yes,
a
yes, they
personal ID
did.
number? Okay.
Right.
So that is going to be for the individual CLIA number is an identification card that you have to pay annually for. It renews or starts over again. I believe the registration starts again in December for 2026. The cost is $139 a year. So even if you apply for it right now, you're going to pay $139 for between now and the end of the year. So that's something to consider. You only need that card if you're going to book the travel advisor rates, those reduced rates. So your other option is to book until if you want to wait to get your individual CLIA card until the new year, consider booking retail rate on the hotel and then just getting the commission back. So you can still get a discount. It's just after instead of before. So if you're okay with that, then you can hold off on getting your individual CLIA card for a little bit.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let me scroll back up. I've seen some things pop in here. Never been on Royal, but enjoyed doing the BA and MS programs. They're nice programs. They're very detailed. Royal does have a very detailed training program. It's just long. And that's why I say pace yourself if you're going to start it, because it is absolutely long. Andy is asking if Hilton has a training program like Marriott. That is a good question. Let me see. I don't typically book the hotels directly like that. I usually do all my stuff through the consolidators. Let me look and see if I even signed up for Hilton directly. Actually, I did. Let me go to their little website. I think I've covered up my camera though. There we go. Oh, what are you asking me for? What is it asking me for? Bear with me. Oops, that's not the right code. That thing. Oh, wait, I know what it is. It is, where is that code? The Hilton code is, bear with me, bear with me. Not too far.
It's a
There.
TBC Hilton.
Yep, I just found it. I had to look it up. I just was drawing a total blank. Ha, got it. Okay. So I'm got that. I'm logged in. Let me take a look and see if I can find menu. Hotels and resorts. I'm not seeing anything that talks about training.
Yeah. Yeah. When I logged into Hilton, it just directly, basically it just triggered a special rate for travel agent and a corporate rate using the Cornerstone corporate account, I guess.
Yes.
But there's no training. I mean, it's not like the way Marriott stepped you through the different brands and the type of rooms and so on. Hilton just seemed to throw you right in.
They just throw you right in. I'm looking at their website. I've looked through the menu at the top, and I'm also looking at all of the links at the bottom, and there is nothing about training.
Yeah, I think it just takes you to Hilton Honors.
So under Hilton Honors, maybe? Yeah, not all of them are going to have great training. So I guess we just kind of have to wing it with them. All right, let's see what else we have here. Karen, I have cruises for myself planned. Should I wait to pay in full till I'm an official agent so I can get the commission? So the question, Karen, is did you book once you became a TA, or did you book them before you became a TA?
Before, because I haven't finished the classes yet.
Okay, so here's the thing with cruises that you booked before becoming a TA. You only have a limited amount of time to get them transferred to you as a TA from the time the deposit was paid. Each cruise line is different. Carnival is the longest at 90 days. Norwegian is the shortest at 14 days from the date of booking, and the bookings cannot be paid in full. So if you're within those time frames, you can go ahead and contact the cruise line and ask them to transfer them to you as a TA. If you're not listed as the TA on the booking, you will not get commission.
So you're just saying I'll have to book more vacations so I get paid more next year?
I know, right? It's all about booking more vacations, Karen. So yeah, so like I said, if you're within those time frames, you can reach out and see if you can get them transferred to you as a TA. Just tell them that you booked them before you became a TA, you know. And which cruise line were they with?
I have one with Norwegian, one with Princess, and one with Royal.
Princess is 60 days from the date of deposit. Royal is 30 days from the date of deposit. And like I said, Norwegian is the shortest at 14 days from the date of deposit. So if Royal or Princess are within that 30 or 60 day time frame, you can do a transfer and get those transferred to you as the travel agent. Norwegian, you might be able to look at and see if the price is still about the same. You might be able to cancel and rebook it as a travel agent.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet, because that way you can get the commission. And yes, if you get them transferred to you as a TA, absolutely get them put into test right away as soon as they're transferred.
Okay.
Or cancel and then rebook them now that you're a TA.
That's the other option too, as long as the price hasn't changed too much. Because Princess's new pricing structure, they changed it a few months ago. When the itineraries are brand spanking new, is going to be the lowest price you're going to get. And then they're just going to keep raising prices until the sale date. I'm not a huge fan of that. However, I do still book an awful lot of Princess. It's not I don't like that pricing structure. I like, to me, it seems like the closer it gets, you should be dropping the price to fill the ship. But every once in a while you may get something like that, but it's less than it was before. So, all right, let me go through. I've got a few more comments in the chat. Randy has a question. Is there any recommendation regarding booking car rentals? Do we go to individual suppliers? So you absolutely can do individual suppliers if you want to. Just make sure you register for them as a TA, or you can do them through the third party, the consolidators, Expedia, TAP, VAX, Price Agencies, or Snap. And again, Snap is through Travel Leaders Network. They all have car rentals through their portals. All right, and Jonathan, is that for training or is that just the login portal? Jonathan. I think he was helping me find my link. Did I lose Jonathan?
I found
He
it too.
responded back, training.
Yeah, I found it too. It's I posted it down at the bottom, Hilton Agent Training. It's through Travel Leader Network, TLN.
Oh, Travel Leaders Network. Good call. So there's the answer to that. If you want some Hilton training, go to Travel Leaders Network Library. I should have thought about that because they do have training on just about everything. So Jonathan, thank you for posting the link to the Hilton portal. I think he was trying to help me find the portal. Andy, is the TA rate better than getting the commission on the retail rate? And Bobby, you are correct, absolutely correct. It honestly depends. My recommendation, if you're looking at a TA rate, don't believe that it's the end all be all rate. It's not always going to be the cheapest rate. I was looking at a cruise one time and I pulled it up as a TA rate. Again, it was Princess. The TA rate was only about $50 less than the retail rate. And so then I took the retail rate and subtracted what the commission would be after the fact. And the retail rate would have been less. So with getting the commission back. So price it out. Even if you're looking at a TA rate, price it out and compare it to the retail rate minus the commission and see which is actually the better rate for you. Let's see. I have heard that Marriott has some great, fantastic rates, but you do need your individual CLIA card for that, of course. Let's see what else we have. Kristen, I received an email today from Celebrity to order catalogs, and I went in and ordered some thinking I was going to be, no, you will not be charged for catalogs. That is also called collateral on some of the websites. You can order flyers, brochures, catalogs from most of the suppliers, and they are free. If you're going to do a vendor event and have a table, you would absolutely want to go onto the suppliers or reach out to the BDM and see if they can help you get your hands on the collateral for an event. But yeah, you can absolutely do that. And I highly recommend if you're doing cruises, there is one particular catalog that I can't recommend enough. It's called a destination collection for Princess and some of the others. I think Royal and Celebrity call it something different. I wish I could remember exactly where I have it. I think it's in one of my file cabinet drawers. The Celebrity and Royal Caribbean book is like about this big and it's spiral bound. Princess is just a little bit thicker catalog, but it talks about some of their destinations. It talks about some of their itineraries in the destinations, but then it has like deck plans for all the ships. And so it's a great reference book. They come out with one every year in case restaurants change, some of the specialty dining may change. Those are great reference items.
Okay.
So
I was just afraid that it was going to be charged to Cornerstone because I was like, uh-oh, I was trying to pay for it myself.
Nope, those are free. So yeah, don't
So
worry.
I probably should order more than one.
Go back and order some more.
Okay, thank you.
You can always go back and order some more, and keep a close eye on those when you're ordering them, because sometimes like the flyers or the little pamphlets may be in a pack. So it may be like a pack of 10, a pack of 25. So make sure you read the fine print before you order, because sometimes if you order 25 and it happens to be a pack of 25, you're going to get a lot more than you were expecting. So
good point. Good point.
Yes. So keep an eye on the fine print when you're ordering. All right. Let's see what
Thank
else
you.
we got here. Bridget, if I have friends that put a deposit on a cruise, can they put me as their travel agent? So Bridget, that goes to the same thing that we were talking about as far as the deposit dates and the time allowed to transfer. So you're going to want to find out what date they put the deposit down and which cruise line it's with, and make sure you're within that time frame. If so, you can absolutely work with them and the cruise line to get it transferred to you as the travel agent. So again, Carnival is 90 days, the longest.
And Ian,
Princess,
if you don't have one, it's free to sign up.
what's that? Jonathan, what did you say? Don't know. So 90 days for Carnival, 60 days for Princess, 30 days for Royal Caribbean, and some of the others, I think, for like MSC and some of those. And then Norwegian is the shortest at 14 days. So give them, just chat with your friends and find out how long it's been since they put the deposit down, and then you can kind of go from there and determine if you can still transfer them or not. Sherry, thank you again for putting the travel agents Hilton training on there. I appreciate that. Oh, Karen, any great cruise deals for Thanksgiving. So, cruise deals for Thanksgiving, book early. Prices go up for the holidays, the close, especially the closer they get. You can always just search the cruise lines and see if anybody's got space left and if they've got any deals on them. But unfortunately, there aren't going to be a lot of like sales for Thanksgiving cruises, just because the holidays are very popular. When the kids are out of school, those cruises get booked. But it never hurts to ask.
Virgin Atlantic had a great deal, but I live in California, and so some of the cruises were good, but the airfare is super terrible.
I'm in California, so I can relate.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it'll only cost me $1,200 to get my $300 cruise.
Yes, I know, right? It's like, I look at, do I want to try Margaritaville at Seas just to see what they're like? But you have to fly all the way over there. And my husband and I one time had an opportunity to do the Norwegian Prima Miami inaugural, but it was a 3-day cruise. And I said, I'm not flying that far for 3 days. So we tacked on a 4-day Royal Caribbean cruise and made it 7 days, a little bit more worthwhile, but it wasn't around any holidays. So you can always look at doing something like that if you want to try, take advantage of that deal. Maybe do a back-to-back or a side-by-side, which is a different cruise line. Just make sure they're in the same port area, and then it's a little bit easier to get to them. When we did Norwegian and Royal, their terminals are literally right next to each other. We walked out of Norwegian, turned left, and walked into Royal Caribbean. And so that's an option to make the airfare more worth it if you're on the opposite coast from where you want to go.
Okay. I know a lot of people who are afraid of Margaritaville. Maybe we should, like, as Cornerstone, like maybe we should just like get over this speed bump together.
Yeah, and you read reviews, and you have to really take reviews with a grain of salt, because you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it, I think. And a cruise is what you make of it. Any kind of trip it's what you make of it.
Hey Jill, just out of curiosity, I'm in Oregon. You usually go to Galveston. I mean, where do you usually take your cruises from? All over.
I go to Europe.
Oh, whatever. You fly?
I can't stand flying, but I'm one of those people. It's like you can't see it, but behind me on the wall, if the image weren't here, I have a map of the world, and I'm one of those color tipped straight pins. I have a different pin top color for each continent. And I am a country collector, so I like to go and put pins in my map when I get home, and
That's
so
cool.
Flying is a means to an end. If it gets me where I want to go eventually, then I will get on a plane and I will tolerate it.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't do most of the cruises I do close to home. It's like if we just need a quick getaway, it used to be Mexico, but we did a few of those. We're kind of over it now. We do Alaska, because we're at Sacramento's our home airport, so it's like an hour and 10-minute flight to LA, and it's about an hour and 20-minute flight to Seattle. So easy peasy. Those are just the easy ones. So other than that, I do the long haul. I fly
Have
to
you-
Seattle and go far, far away, or I go to LA and go far, far away.
Have you done a cruise out of LA, like over to Hawaii or the South Pacific or anything? No.
Nope. I think if I go to the South Pacific, I will likely fly and get on a cruise over there. I did a Pacific crossing from Tokyo to Whittier, and I do get motion sickness from time to time. And the Pacific is rougher weather. It's rougher water than the Atlantic. And so I've done a Pacific crossing. I will not go to Alaska from San Francisco. I will not go to Hawaii from San Francisco. I just don't do a lot of cruises from the Pacific. My choice, just because of how I am with them. So yes. So Jennifer was asking if I've ever gone out of LA. I have to Mexico, out of San Pedro. As far as any recommendations, are you talking about like hotels or just, I mean, just go and enjoy? If you're doing a cruise, if you're flying in the day of, just go ahead and do the ship shuttle. That's probably the easiest because you'll already be at the airport. If you're flying long distance, try to get a hotel near closer to the cruise port, because then you can either just take a quick little Uber or a quick little taxi ride to the port. Does that help, Jennifer? Yes? No? Yes. Coming from North Carolina, so the day before. Yes, indeed. So yeah, just stay near the cruise port. There is a hotel. Let me Google it real quick. And I know that we are a minute over time, so if anybody has to get going, I understand completely, and I will thank you now for coming. I appreciate you taking time out of your day. I don't like to keep people over time if they can't stay. Let me do a search. There is a hotel. There is a hotel. Let me look. The recommendations. There's several recommendations for the Doubletree Hotel, and they have a cruise port shuttle out up to San Pedro. And I want to say there was another one. I want to say that there was another one, but I'm not seeing the recommendation. Where did it go? I know it was a fairly recent post. Let me search again. Maybe it's Los Angeles. I'm looking. Doubletree. I know that there was another one. I'm having problems finding it, but I am seeing the Doubletree on several posts as a recommendation for down in that area. So hopefully that helps. And again, to those of you who have to go, it looks like maybe a couple people may have dropped off. Are there any other questions? I'm okay with answering one or two more quick questions if you have them. If not, I'll give you just a minute to respond if you do. All right, it looks like that may be it. So thank you all so much for taking time out of your evening to join me for booking Q&A tonight. Don't forget, if you have general questions, we have 2 group Q&A sessions on Tuesdays, one in the morning at 11 a.m. Central Time, and then also at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. And now for those of you who can't make those during the week because you're working full time, we have 2 sessions on Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Central and also 12 noon Central. So you can also join us on Saturday if that works better for your schedule. Those are open group Q&A sessions, not booking specific. So bring your questions. Come and join us for more Q&A and conversation. And I thank you again for coming, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. We'll see you next time.